it's so good to have another chat. So I wanted to talk about brokers in general and the value that we bring, considering that we're now writing more than 70% of business for clients in the residential space. So what's your opinion on the value that brokers bring?
Yeah, I think for me, it feels like a bit of a no-brainer. Obviously, these days with brokers making up for 70% of loans on the market, and also I think what is a bit of an unknown fact um, that unlike financial planners or accountants, the banks actually pay the fees, and there's no actual cost to the end purchaser. So
Yep.
it's a bit of a no-brainer in that respect.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you? It's already such a stressful process. Why wouldn't you try to take the legwork or some of the headaches out of that process by leveraging a broker?
Yeah, and it's not really just a transaction, is it?
No, not at all.
It's a real long-term relationship with clients.
Well, it is. I think it's the nature of that relationship is that it's about client retention and that ongoing relationship, and part of that is it's not just that initial deal that you might do for a client on a loan. After 12 months, we've got a team that regularly price check or shop the rates to make sure that they're getting the most cost effective deal or best deal to suit them.
Yeah.
At any point in time, and I think that's how you grow your client base.
Yeah, and for the clients that you have long term, their circumstances change. Like children come or children may move out of home, so circumstances change, which means that they may not even be with the right lender at any given time.
No, exactly right. And obviously, as we know, different lenders have different appetite for risk. And that's why it's so important to build that personal connection beyond the transactional relationship of getting them a loan.
Yeah. Are you seeing a lot of first home buyers?
There is actually. There's a lot of first home buyers coming onto the market. I think what we're seeing, especially, is we're seeing there's younger people who are looking to get into the market. They've got fairly healthy deposits, and they're also able to leverage some of the great first home owner grants that are available in the market. So which makes it that bit more appealing, and obviously helps with the housing issue that we have at the moment.
Yeah, and brokers, I think, play a really important part when times are tough, like with the last 12 months with so many rate increases, of making sure that clients are okay with doing those price checks with the current lenders that they're with as well, considering it was tough with refinancing some of them due to borrowing capacity. So I think brokers really played an important role in that customer care element.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, like to your point, property is like the lifeblood of Australia, and but it's a bit of a catch-22 because if you look at the stats, everyone's mortgaged up to the hill. Fortunately for us, we're at the forefront of it, and we have the tools at our fingertips. To be able to save everyday homeowner a lot of time and effort. Because we put the numbers in the system, run the numbers, look at the different structures. And can in turn put more money back in their pocket every month.
Given that there are like 60 residential lenders available on the market, there are so many different lender policies as well. So finding the right fit, depending on those circumstances, whether someone's on maternity leave or close to retirement as well, that is a huge part and benefit of using a broker rather going straight to a branch where they may not even fit policy and you get a decline.
Yeah, it's so true. I think especially some of those niches for those that might be retiring or even recently looking at some of the Medico policies and some of the speculation around what might be introduced for nurses, everything else. I think it's super important that people have that information, but you don't know what you don't know unless you have that conversation with the broker.
Yeah.
You may not ever find out that information. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's good that we're able to help in that respect because we are so close to it on a daily basis.
Yeah. Before brokering, our backgrounds were very similar in corporate worlds.
Yeah.
But I've found, and I'm sure you do because we've met quite regularly, that the broker community as a whole is really generous with their time and their knowledge as well.
Yeah, it's I think just on that last point, like there's so much information that's out there, and it's what's really surprised me is how supportive the broker community is. And if you've ever got a question, you can ask any broker, and you can get that answer a lot more quickly than if you were to research it yourself.
Yeah.
Because everyone does have similar problems, but there's no one scenario that's exactly the same.
Yeah.
But it's likely that there's somebody else who may have seen it, so it's really good in that respect.
Yeah, and probably something else that's probably unknown is the time it can take to get an application through from end to end.
Yeah.
And the research and the document collection, it can take hours.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the benefits or one of the best parts about the broker community is that you can share ideas or processes and look at ways to do things more efficiently together.
Yeah.
Because I think it's one of the unknown things about what we do is how many steps are involved or the time that it takes.
Yeah. And what do you love about broking?
I genuinely love that feeling you get when somebody settles, or you're able to tell somebody that didn't think they were in a position to buy a property that they are actually in a much better position than what they thought they were.
Same. That's my favourite bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolute best is calling and saying you got your loan approved.
Yeah, it is. No, it is. It's I've got one of those tomorrow.
Yeah, it is the best. It can be challenging.
Yeah.
But those moments really do outweigh the struggles and the tough times of making sure we can get something in the best interest of the client.
And that's it. And sometimes you may not know that straight away yourself, but you have a conversation with another broker about what we were talking about earlier, and you find out that there's this sort of light bulb moment where it's like, hey, you know what, we are going to be able to help this person.
Yeah.
And there's people in very different circumstances. Some are harder off than others.
Yeah.
Others might be doing some really good work that's really community minded and not necessarily getting recognised or remunerated the way they should for that work. So to be able to help out in that space as well, I think is really important and really rewarding.
Yeah. And we do see a lot of brokers doing a lot of community stuff as well, whether it's for mental health or sporting, sponsorship. So they do a lot in the communities too.
Yes, they do. It's a space I need to be doing. It's something I need to be doing a bit more on myself, I think. But certainly something I'm interested in because of the nature of what we do. It is so community minded.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you,
Tim.
Jodie. Always a pleasure catching up.
Yeah. I look forward to our next one.
Absolutely.
Thanks.